What's happening, guys? Happy Sunday and welcome to the Dynasty WarZone, the People's Dynasty podcast. On today's show, it is your show. Today, it truly is the People's podcast. We're talking YouTube Dynasty Trade questions. And with me to help me with all of these Dynasty Trade questions is none other than my co-host. You know him better as the man of the hour and the man with the power, Jerry Sinclair. Buddy, you ready to talk Dynasty trades?
There is not a better topic to talk in this world, if you want me to be honest with you, because it's the one thing that makes Dynasty different. Is it's something that I can do 365 days of the year, and I can just inject that drug right into my vein, and I need it over and over and over again. So yes, sir, I am so ready.
Well, we're not going to waste any time because we don't have any time to waste. We said last week to the people, it's like, hey, put your Dynasty trade questions in the YouTube comments, and we'll go back. We'll pull them. When I say we, I meant me. I went back and I pulled them out. I wrote them down, and we're going to get to those, and we're going to get through as many live Dynasty trades as we can here on the air. But real quick, speaking of someone who could have been on drugs, not the drug of Dynasty fantasy trades, but someone who was out of their goddamn mind. Quinshon Judkins got arrested, domestic violence. There's two sides to every story. I'm not rushing to judgment, but that's why I bring it up, Jerry. It's like you and I have been doing this podcast. It just rolled over into year number 8, the Ocho. And we've dealt with the Tyreek Hill. We've dealt with so many of these legal issues. Unless you have like some moral hangup in your heart that you can't have someone who committed domestic violence on your roster, that's the only reason. But don't be the guy like Nick Whalen, good friend of the show. Nick Whalen said he got a Dynasty trade today. Speaking of Dynasty trades, he gets Darren Waller. They get Quinshon Judkins. And I just remember when it was actually the second Tyreek Hill thing where like the alleged thing with his son and his, son's mother, and it was a mess and people were giving him away. They were just convinced that based off of his college track record that he was going to get suspended for the rest of his career. People were just giving this guy away. And in some cases, you're probably right, like the Deshaun Watson case. But every case is different. Jerry, how are you handling Quinshon Judkins? Because I know you've got some rostered. Concerns, not concerned. What are your thoughts on Judkins?
You have to be concerned. I mean, there's no ignoring the situation. When you're going to be a bozo, to use a line that our dear friend Mike Jernigan, one of the original hosts of this show many, many moons ago, used to say about players, is you have a knucklehead factor. And now Quinshon Judkins will always have that knucklehead factor imprinted into his value. And it is never going to go away. It is always going to be something. So that sucks. As far as getting Darren Waller for Quinshon Judkins, you can piss off. Don't waste my time. Don't send anything stupid like that. Like I'm likely to send you a picture of my butthole back if you send me something like that. Like, get out of here. Waste my time. But no, you have to be upset about Quinshon Judkins because it's not a great team. Yes, they want to run it, like they want to be a run first offense. It's not like Jerome Ford is terrible though. They got the other guy too that they just drafted, Sampson.
Dylan Sampson.
He's fine. So you're just making the situation harder on yourself by doing dumb shit. Like, just be a smart human. You just need to be able to play football for a short amount of time, then you can be the dumbest human you want and be filthy rich and do what you need. Just dumb.
So I'm a big Chat GPT guy. Threw it in Chat GPT. By the way, if you ask Chat GPT the right prompts, it will give you great answers. I've used this for a ton of stuff. And I put in Chat GPT, what is the average suspension for a NFL player who commits domestic violence? Official policy post 2014. First offense, mandatory suspension of at least 6 games. Now, if you want to take Quinshon Judkins, because this is his first offense, okay, so it looks like he's getting 6 games. Oh, but here's the way. Historically, going back before 2014, The first incident was an average suspension of 3.7 games. So even after the rule change, actual suspensions have varied. While the policy set 6 games as the baseline, many players have received suspensions ranging from 1 to 4 games, especially under mitigating circumstances. ChatGPT, ladies and gentlemen, this is why you don't do dumb trades involving Quinshon Judkins. Do I wish every player on my Dynasty rosters were good people? Of course I do. I wish there was more Josh Allens. I was literally watching a thing with Josh Allen, who was donating time at like a children's hospital for, really sick kids, or Justin Jefferson at a football camp teaching young wide receivers how to catch a football. Do I wish all of my Dynasty players were that guy? Of course I do. I wish all humans were that person, but it's not. There are bad teachers. There are bad police officers. There are bad professors. There's bad everything. But I'm just in the game of Dynasty points, and hopefully it was a non-starter, I guess. I don't know. More will come out. But from a Dynasty standpoint, don't be giving away your Quinshon Judkins. Now, again, if you want to trade him in seasonal leagues because you're scared of that 1 to 6 games, totally understand. Best ball, if you're drafting in the Rabbit, you want to avoid Judkins, completely understand. But in Dynasty, do not give them away.
No, 100% with you. It sucks. It's stupid. It's part of this game, though. There are things that we just simply cannot predict. And as a person that has argued about R.J. Harvey and Quinshon Judkins for the last month and a half, cool. Thanks a lot, bud.
I'll take R.J. Harvey and dealing with J.K. Dobbins over this mess. But I mentioned the Rabbit. I mentioned the Rabbit. If you don't know what the Rabbit is, it's the newest game from Fast Draft.
You asked, we delivered a full best ball tournament on Fast Draft, but we do it the Fast Draft way, and it's called the Rabbit, because of course it is. 20-second time clock, 15 rounds. These drafts, they take 20 minutes. That's it. So you get a lot of new people coming in and playing, get a lot of best ball bros playing, exploitable ADPs, no rake. It is the best EV in all of fantasy. You should just go to fastdraft.app, use code FAST. You get a $50 deposit match. These things are a blast, and it's the best use of your funds in all of fantasy.
100% rake-free fantasy game. Everybody charges something, whether, I guess Sleeper's free, and you might play in a free Dynasty league, but $10, and it takes 20 minutes, Jerry.
Easy peasy. I mean, you just have to be impressed with everything that Matt has done. Just in the last couple of years, right? Like, he just went from like a controversial podcast host to starting player profiler to now revolutionizing best ball and tournament formats with Fast Draft. Like, good for him. And I know he's the boss, and I know he's the one that keeps the lights on. So I'm not trying to suck up to him, but honestly, there was a time when we did this show and we had our little beef with Matt for a little bit, which Randy was right about that trade, for the record. But
speaking of trades, I want to get to that, but I do want to do a very quick good people, bad tweets, okay? Because I want to get into the Dynasty trades. Questions are filling up in the chat. If you're watching on Twitter or you're watching on Facebook, jump over to YouTube, jump into YouTube comments, and if we get time, we'll get to your chat. And just like last week, Jerry and I decided pre-show that we're going to do this 2 weeks in a row. And then 2 Sundays from now, on July 27th, we're going to do our training camp Dynasty preview. That'll be as more teams are going right into camp. Although the Chargers, they reported today. That's great news. But I saw a tweet that I actually agreed with. So this is a good tweets, Jerry. But it's from a previous offender who was good people, bad tweets. See, we don't judge people.
Maybe they're just learning. They're growing as a person.
We judge tweets. It's never about attacking a person. It's about attacking bad social media work. But anyway, Dave Kluge. Been a while since we've uttered the name Dave Kluge here on the Dynasty WarZone, but Dave is back in a great way. Oh, a player got arrested. Let me reshare all of my old tweets touting his backup to show everyone how sharp I am. I literally slow clapped in the living room. I was just scrolling this morning and I saw that and I was like, you know what? That's damn good. That is correct. Nothing. It's not like you were touting Dylan Sampson and like he was named the starter over Judkins and Jerome Ford. That's worth resharing that old tweet. This is not, Jerry. It does not make you right about Dylan Sampson. He could still be terrible, or he could be great.
It's like when a QB overthrows a wide receiver by 5-10 yards, and then the DB hits you with the incomplete. Like, brother, you didn't have anything to do with it. You didn't do anything.
That is one of your best hits of all time. That is 100% what it's like. It is the wide receiver, the quarterback airmails him by like 8 yards, and the DB jumps up and celebrates. Throws up the incompletion right there. It's like
he's not face first in the dirt too.
Yeah, it's that is a good one. But you know what? I just wanted to give Dave a little kudos because I thought this is a very accurate tweet, and this is putting people putting themselves over season. Hey, everybody, come see how smart I am.
Yeah, just circle jerking themselves.
Well, you know what? This little bit of Dana White is not for Dave Kluge. It's for the people who are sharing the tweets Dave is referring to.
Huge fucking clusterfuck.
Yeah.
Completely fucking irresponsible. A shit show. Dangerous, stupid, irresponsible, and just completely fucking ridiculous.
I think it's well said.
Dana.
That's why Dana is the voice of good people, bad tweets. All right, Jerry, let's talk trades. Now, I'm going to need your help. You're going to monitor the comments. So we're going to get more trades, but I want to get some from last week because people, it's what we said, and we're going to do it again next week. If you're hearing this in audio form and you're like, shit, I would love to have Jerry in Memphis, break down my Dynasty trade. It's okay. Go to YouTube. I don't care if it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's next Sunday. Ask your Dynasty trade question. I'll go in there and pull them all out, and then we'll go through and we'll read them on the air. All right, Jerry, let's get going. Yes. I don't want to waste any time. I don't have any time to waste. This is from Sapapas, Sapapas. And they said 10 team, 2 quarterback, not super flex, but a mandatory 2 quarterback, PPR 2 tight end. He was going, or she was going, they were going looking for Drake May. So they received Drake May, Juwan Jennings, and Chigakonkwo, and they sent Rashee Rice, Brenton Strange, and the 1.05. They did denote that owner was reaching for Colston Loveland at the 105, which, as you know, as a 2 tight end player, getting tight ends is harder to come by than it is quarterbacks, really. I mean, you like we talked about last week, you can always find a Baker Mayfield, a Danny Dimes, a Sam Darnold, but to get a tight end in real tight end production is often tough. So for me, this one was a slam dunk, but I'll let you go first.
It's too expensive for me. I'm not a believer that Drake May is like some difference maker. I just don't love him. And I don't think Chigakonkwo is very good, and I don't think Juwan Jennings is very good. I understand if you believe in Drake May like you do, then I'm absolutely willing to pay for that. But who else was it? It was 105, Rashee Rice. I think Rashee Rice is the heir apparent in Kansas City. Plus, I get the tight end.
So I jumped on with Dustin from the Dynasty Rewind, and we were talking about trade targets, and kind of like you and I we didn't pre-talk pre-show, and both of us came into this show about guys we were looking to acquire, and Rashee Rice was on both of our lists. So clearly, I think highly of him. I'm a Drake May guy, and I do not care what anyone says about Josh McDaniels. He may be a horrible head coach. He is a good offensive coordinator. We're doing Scott Fishbowl maybe next week instead of, as long as no one gets arrested or does anything stupid, we may take the opening segment. We may discuss our Scott Fishbowl teams. I am in on Hunter Henry. I'm in on Travion Henderson, and I'm in on Drake May. I think Drake May is good. I don't think we saw a lot of Drake May designed runs last year. I think Drake May could be – he's not going to be Josh Allen because no one's going to be Josh Allen. But I think Drake May is really good. And given the format, I don't love Chig Okonkwo. I do feel like for Chig this year, it's go or no go.
Yes, correct.
You like either get it.
I'm fine if you add a place
upgrade.
like that. Yeah, like I'm fine with adding that piece. Like getting a tight end is fine. And Juwan Jennings will have flashes where he's fine, but also like he's just not going to be the focal point of that offense. So you're never going to know when to play him. So that's super annoying. And it's not that I hate Drake May. Like I think Drake May is fine. I think he's a starter in a super flex league. And I like Stephon Diggs. I think Stephon Diggs is going to help that boy out quite a bit. But yeah, like nothing about him screams foundational aspect gonna help you win a championship.
Well, I don't want to slow down the trade show, but I'm going to. If you've never heard of it, Player Profiler, pretty awesome. You might want to check them out. I'm going to throw some quarterbacks out in his range, and you tell me who you'd rather have.
Cool.
Drake May, who is a skosh under 23. Drake May or Bo Nix?
Bo Nix.
Drake May or Justin Herbert?
Justin Herbert.
Drake May or CJ Stroud?
CJ Stroud.
Drake May or Caleb Williams?
Caleb Williams.
Okay. I agree with you on Bo Nix. Now,
not the rest though, huh?
I mean, Justin Herbert with this new offense and, more running backs, and Najee blew himself up. CJ Stroud and Caleb Williams.
Hold on. We can't just breeze past that. I forgot about that.
I mean,
we had this conversation last week, and you said, that you saw the post about, someone is looking at all 10 of their fingers, and it's the last time they're ever going to see that. And we didn't realize it was going to be Najee in his face, but it was Najee.
It's Najee. It's vision. Allegedly, no long-term effects, anything like that.
Just dumb. Just
it's
dumb.
Like, have you seen the famous viral video of the back? Put it in reverse, Terry.
Yeah, the guy in the wheelchair.
Someone in our patron group chat said that Najee Harris went full Terry or JPP, which is Jason Pierre-Paul. If you're too young to remember Jason Pierre-Paul, worth a Google. But it took me a minute. I was like, did Terry McLaren have a fireworks incident that I don't recall? And then it finally hit me. It was put it in reverse, Terry. Real quick, I want to jump into one of the live trades in the chat because he has been very active so far. It's Addison Clock, and I'll put it up on the screen. Addison said, Superflex PPR must start 9. Move Cortland Sutton and Montgomery for Rashee Rice. Team has been 1 win away for the last 2 seasons. Jerry, I think for me, Rashee Rice, that's a slam dunk. And I might be one of the top 3 defenders of Cortland Sutton for the last decade, I guess 7-8 years. But I am taking Rashee Rice easy. I think you can replace Montgomery's production. I don't know what Montgomery's production looks like without Ben Johnson. I think Rashee Rice is the PPR target hog. You start 9. That's what I'm doing. What about you, Jerry?
I am sticking with the duo. Starting 9 is a lot of players. And so I don't want to give up a start. Like how much? That's
7 position players. So you super flex. So you throw out 2 quarterbacks. You got to assume a tight end. So you're talking probably 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and 2 flex.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I don't like how much more is Rice going to score than Sutton? I don't know that he is. And if he is, I don't think it's going to be exponentially more. And David Montgomery's going to have double-digit touchdowns. Like David Montgomery might not sniff 1,000 yards again, if you think he's not going to get 10 touchdowns this season, assuming he stays healthy, you are higher than giraffe nuts. Like we've seen what Dan Campbell wants to do. He had 12 touchdowns last year. He had 13 touchdowns the year before that. Jamal Williams had like 18 or something the year before that. Like that is who that guy is. 100% David Montgomery is going to be fine. So I would rather stick with the two. That said, I'm excited about Rashee Rice, and I think he's going to get better and blah, 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 blah. But if you've been this close to winning yourself a championship, I would rather just have the stability, because if Rashee Rice fails, or not fails, but gets hurt or something, then I'm missing out on all the production. To where it happens to one of those guys, I'm still sitting pretty.
I'm fine with you making it a math equation. In baseball, it's the stats called WAR. Wins above replacement. For me, it's PAR, like golf, PAR, points above replacement. If Rashee Rice and whoever let's say you're starting 2 running backs. If Rashee Rice and the unknown running back combined would score more points than Sutton and Montgomery, then I'm here for it. Rice is going into year 3. Sutton, like I said, is going into year 8, maybe 9. I don't know. He's been in the league for a while. I think 2018, if I remember correctly. He's been around a while. And I do like Bo Nix as a quarterback. We just talked about Bo Nix. But for me, it would be a points equation because, as you've said, and he added a little bit more context to the chat.
Yeah.
And then he has to flex on us a little bit. God bless you. He says he also has Bijan, Ashton Genty, and Pacheco.
That's what I mean. So I got Bijan, I got Genty, I got Montgomery's 10 touchdowns. Throw Pacheco in there. Like I'm cool. I don't think I need to make a move.
I'm going to go with CK Comedy's tweet, and he says, I like Rice, but it's close. That is correct. I want to take care of a super chat, and then I want to jump back to last week's. So Cameron Meyer says, how far is Judkins going to slide? Would him and Sampson at the 112 and 201 be good? 100%. I mean, Jerry was just talking about David Montgomery. Who's he paired with, Jerry?
Jahmyr Gibbs.
I love Jahmyr Gibbs. Does Jahmyr Gibbs impede David Montgomery's fantasy value and vice versa?
Of course.
No, they don't, because both guys are really good.
Jahmyr Gibbs definitely hinders David Montgomery. But
what I'm saying is they're both really good.
Yes.
Did Alvin Kamara
startable? Yes.
Did Alvin Kamara impede Mark Ingram back in the day? No. They're 2 different running backs. Not only could you get them, you then have both. So if Judkins is suspended, continues to be a knucklehead, and never grows up, then you have the guy. But I see a world where both of these guys can be fantasy relevant. But I think 201's about the ceiling for Dylan Sampson.
I
like him. I like him.
Very expensive.
That is a little pricey. I see what you're trying to do there. You're trying to accomplish making sure you have the Cleveland running back situation. The problem is Jerome Ford's not going anywhere. And I know Jerome Ford's not a barrier, but he is the veteran, and he'll likely be the starter. Remember last year in Cincinnati, I know everybody's, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for Chase Brown. Zach Moss was the starter. It took a Zach Moss injury to really unlock Chase Brown, and Zach Moss is back on the Bengals. So anyway, but to answer your question, Cameron, yeah, I'm fine with it. Actually, I'm going to use Cameron's question to jump into another one from last week. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
So it's Rasaf. How would you maximize these picks to pick up running back depth? Are you ready? So the 102, the 202, the 208, the 210, and the 303. Now, this is what I wrote down using the player profile rankings. I think at 102, especially with Najee going, full fireworks display, I'm right back on the Omarion Hampton bandwagon. At 202, the ADP would say maybe Cam Scattaboo. I'm not a big Cam Scattaboo guy.
No.
But if I could move 202 and maybe get a veteran that I like, or maybe you can move 202 and get like Isaiah Pacheco in a third. Maybe you could drop around and you could get a guy who could plug instant points into your lineup.
I think I'm fine still picking 202, Randy. Like, I'm getting Egbuka or I'm getting Luther Burden. Like, I'm fine with that pick.
Yeah. 208, I put Jaden Blue. I know people are starting to feel Javonte Williams a little bit. I mean, it's like we just mentioned Chase Brown. All Jaden Blue needs is a runway, and he's a good enough running back that in that offense, he could be really good. I said at 210, I would try to go get like a veteran running back. You know, can I find a cheap Joe Mixon? Can I find, like I'll tell you right now, and I'll use the Scott Fish Bowl as my barometer. There is not a lot of love for Travis Etienne out there. Go back to the 202. Could you get Travis Etienne for the 202 right now?
Possibly, and I'd do it in a second.
And I
just got sniped in Scott Fish Bowl. I was pissed off. He was the only person I had queued because I was like, I want to make sure I leave this draft with him.
What round was it?
I don't remember. Like, it was pretty late, but also like his ADP on there was super late. So I was like, I literally scrolled until I found him, and somebody still got him. I think it was Matty Big Chest, actually. I think he snagged it.
Old Matty Biggs. Yeah, our patron admin, Neil, he got him in the 8th round.
Yeah, I think that's about when Matt took him.
I wasn't trying to get cheeky like you. I wasn't trying to get cute. I took him at like 607.
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, you're going to tell me. I
took DK Metcalf very early, so I got no room to talk about reaching.
You can tell me that I can get a guy. Let's see, was that 60 plus 7? So the 67th pick overall. You mean to tell me there are 67 players or 66 players better than Travis Etienne in fantasy? He was the RB3 a year ago, and he's not coming off an injury.
No, that's what I mean. He just sucked last year, and everybody forgets what happened the year before that.
So
it happens all the time. It's great.
I would take that 202 and I would go shopping for like a Travis Etienne, but that's how we would do it. I do want to give a shout out to Aloha Panda. He's in an 8-team league, or they are in an 8-team league, and literally racked off the league winner. Aloha, I don't have a lot for you except enjoy the money. Consider investing it in Fast Draft. If you do, promo code is WarZone.
Company man.
So when you win that league, Aloha Panda, please use that money to come join Fast Draft. All right, got another one. I didn't write down the name, but this is a really good trade. So I want to get your take on this one. 12-team, no tight end premium, strong contender, wanting to tear down from Justin Jefferson. They send Justin Jefferson and a 27 second. In return, they get Malik Neighbors, the 108 in this year's draft class, and a 2027 first.
Okay. That's easy. That's easy without the 27 first, Randy. Like 108 is going to be RJ Harvey or Caleb Johnson or even Tet McMillan maybe, or anybody like that. That's a good pick.
108
and Malik Neighbors is comparable to Justin Jefferson. I mean, obviously he's not up to that level yet, but good God. And to get a 2027 first also, that's easy. And not even thinking about it. See you, Justin. Love you, buddy. Bye.
Yeah, and if I tell you what 6 months from now, January 13th, that Malik Neighbors and Justin Jefferson scored about the same fantasy points,
nobody would be surprised.
0% surprised. And not only are you flipping around in 2027, which is a very highly touted draft class, everybody's talking about it. The wide receiver, the guy from Ohio State, Smith, is that right?
Yep, Jeremiah Smith. And,
the guy from Alabama.
Ryan Williams, I think is his name.
Yeah, it is. It is Ryan Williams. And then the 108 in this year's draft. Now, let's say it is super flex. If it is, that could be Ashton Genty. Probably not. It's the 108. Omarion Hampton, Tet McMillan, Travion Henderson, Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Caleb Johnson, RJ Harvey. So we'll just go with the RJ Harvey. I like that because you get a wide receiver and a running back and a 2027 first and a class that easy. Slam dunk. I do it all day. I do it every day. All right, I got one more, and this is a good one for you because he was on your trade talks last week when we were talking trade targets, and I didn't write down the name because I was getting close to showtime, so I super apologize, but we are reading your question. What are you offering in trade for Breece Hall right now?
Okay. This sort of builds off what Jamie just put in the YouTube chat also. A hell of a lot more than people think. Like I'm taking Breece Hall over Amarian Hampton and Travion Henderson. So 102 as far as rookies are concerned, and pretty easily for me. Like I think Aaron Glenn is going to want to run the ball. He's not going to, what are you going to do? Are you going to have Justin Fields throw it all over the field? Fuck no. Get out of here. You're going to want to run the ball. He came from the Dan Campbell offense where, guess what we did? Ran the hell out of the ball. He's got an unbelievable pass catcher and between the tackles runner in Breece Hall. Yes, Breece Hall's awesome. Breece Hall is going to be a top 3 or 4 dynasty running back this year, and probably going forward into the next couple of years. Just saying. 102, easy.
I feel like a real dick because I didn't write that previous person's name down. I'm going to do exactly what that person did. When they sent Jay Jetta, by the way, and part of the reason why that trade was so easy, I referenced that tweet earlier about Justin Jefferson helping, young wide receivers. It said going into year 6. Like, what? Going into year 6 for Justin Jefferson, man, time flies.
Yeah.
That's just another little added advantage of going Malik Neighbors. He's going into year 2. You're keeping the points per game in your lineup about the same, and you're resetting the clock. You're resetting the clock a presidential term, 4 full years. You can go Olympics if you're not into politics. This one right here, I'm going to steal that trade idea, and I'm going to offer to send you Devon Achane and a 2027 second, and I will take Breece Hall and a 2027 first. Is the market that depressed on Breece Hall? Like, would you do that?
Randy, if I would do it without the first. Like I would give up Achane in a second to get Breece Hall in a freaking millisecond.
But that's the beautiful part.
I understand. I see what you're saying. So yes, I would, but I'm saying
so I'm using player profiler rankings again, as Jerry will tell you. I'm a staunch company man. Player Profiler has Breece Hall as RB7. I mean, if I could send Saquon Barkley, who's quote unquote, this is how I use rankings, by the way. Don't be a dick and send them like a screenshot of a trade calculator. Never be. That was a big one that we forgot to bring up during the trade tips. Never, ever, never, never, ever, never, ever. Never, ever send a picture of a trade calculator screenshot to the person you're trying to make a trade. That is an auto reject every time, every single time. But I do use rankings and just say, look.
I use calculators too, but I'm never sending you that I send it.
I am showing them player profiler rankings. I'm showing them that Breece Hall is going behind Saquon Barkley. I'm a Jets fan more than a Giants, by the way of the Eagles fan. Let's make a trade. Because the age gap, just like Justin Jefferson and Malik Neighbors, it's 4 years. The difference is that the wide receiver is it's not the Grand Canyon size gap that it is at the running back position. Saquon Barkley, 28.4. Breece Hall's only 24 years old, just turned 24 years old. I mean, I'm going to throw the health questions out because both of those guys have some health questions throughout the career. But I'm taking Breece Hall. And I know that I'm giving up a great offense and I'm giving up a special player. But those are the kind of moves I'm making. Like Bucky Irving. Like Bucky is RB10. I don't know that you get that done, but that's the kind of move I want to make, Jerry.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I'm making all sorts of moves for Breece Hall.
Yeah,
I just feel like he's not like, it's not like people hate him. Don't get me wrong, but like his value is depressed, and it's because he was considered to be RB1 pretty recently, and then it didn't come to fruition. So people just they get a bad taste in their mouth. That value depresses. Thank you, Jared. Will take him.
his not only that, but he'll be a free agent this time next year. So he could sign with a better team. He should get the benefit of having a running quarterback in Justin Fields, one of only a handful of options. Brees Hall's going to smash.
What stops him from going to like Houston or something?
Well, they're collecting old running backs there. They got
grandpas. That's what I mean. So and they're both on 1-year deals. Boop. Bring in Brees Hall. That offense looks good now.
I love Chuba Hubbard, but put him in Carolina.
True.
Maybe he goes.
Jonathan Brooks.
No offense. I know people like Cam Scadaboo, and I drafted Tyron Tracy in the Scott Fish Bowl, but he could literally stay in the city of New York, trade in the green for the blue, and actually replace Saquon Barkley. That wouldn't be a great offense. But if you want to know more about these rankings that I refer to, check out Dynasty Deluxe.
If you play in Dynasty, you need Dynasty Deluxe, our premium package for Dynasty Leaguers. We rank over 300 players, updated every week, all year long. And there's a win now mode and a rebuild mode with superflex and tight end premium controls. And a Dynasty League sync where you can say, sync down all of my sleeper teams, all my FFPC teams. And then you can browse around your leagues for who has needs. And then you can use our trade finder to see what kinds of trades are happening in leagues that are similar to the one I want to do. Then you can analyze trades using our trade analyzer, which balances the lifetime value, which includes pick values out to like 2028. All of that plus the rookie guide, $25 value is included. So if you're just in one Dynasty League, Dynasty Deluxe is well worth it. And use your host's promo code, and you can bump up to all in and get $25 off.
The old Podfather, $25 off if you use promo code WarZone at checkout. That'll bump you up to all in, save you a couple of bucks. Promo code is WarZone. All right, I want to get back to these live YouTube comments. Cortland Jones. I wonder if it's like Daniel Jones and Cortland Sutton had a kid. That'd be a pretty athletic football player. Daniel Jones, not a great quarterback, super athletic dude. 10-team PPR have Daniels and let's see here. Jaden Daniels, LJ, Geno, Tua, 108.
Need a wide receiver. He corrected it below it.
Okay. Needs a wide receiver at the 108. All right, Jerry, is there a wide receiver that you would draft at the 108?
No, absolutely not. I am 100% Randy. I am trading Tua away and probably the 108, and I'm going to try and get a wide receiver that way. Because if I did, assuming you don't need a running back, because if it's 2 QB, Jaden Daniels, I assume LJ is Lamar Jackson. And then I got Geno as my 3. I'm chilling. I don't need a 4th quarterback. I don't need any of it. Because if anything if all goes right and I have Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson, I am dropping my nuts on everybody in the league all season long. And if something does go wrong, then I got Geno and he's fine. Like he's a solid replacement until they can get back up and running. Don't need him. So Tua, you're out of here. Good. You're too scary. But also, people don't like Tua. Randy, if I offered him Tua, he would laugh in my face, send me a picture of his butthole. I don't want to see a picture of Randy's butthole, so I don't want to see that. So I got to send the 108 too. So that way I can try and get rid of Tua. I can get the wide receiver that I need, and that's what I'm going to have to do. Because I don't want to trust any of the wide receivers that are there. Travis Hunter's probably going to be gone. Tet's probably going to be gone. So then I'm reaching on Emeka Egbuka, who's wide receiver 3 on his team, or Luther Burden, who's wide receiver 3, pass catcher 4 on his team. Blech. Like that doesn't help me, especially when I have Jaden Daniels and I have Lamar Jackson.
So again, Dynasty Deluxe promo codes WarZone. You too would have access to these rankings, and you wouldn't have to listen to this show and hope that Jerry or I bring up their rankings for you. Just go sign up for Dynasty Deluxe. So I'm going to start naming off some guys. So you can package 108 and Tua. Now, it would take, because it is a 10-team league, so quarterbacks aren't as scarce. But can you find someone who's maybe got a Russell Wilson or an Aaron Rodgers they're concerned about. Maybe they have a little knot in their throat because they don't think Sam Darnold can repeat what he did last year. These are all fair things, you know, and I wouldn't be opposed to moving Geno, but like, could you package the 108 and one of the quarterbacks, we'll say Tua, because that's what you said. I'm going to start from the lower numbers up. When can I get, when is it not enough? So would you take DJ Moore or the quarterback in 108?
I would take the quarterback in 108.
Okay. Xavier Worthy or the 108?
Package.
Okay. Roma Dunze.
We're getting closer. Still the package, though.
Rashee Rice.
Okay, I'd probably take Rashee Rice.
What if you could package Tua and the 108 and go up and get Travis Hunter?
No, we're cooking.
Okay.
You're essentially you're getting Tua to move down 5 spots. It's not a terrible idea.
Anywhere from 3 to 5 spots, depending on how the flow of the league goes. Marvin Harrison or the package?
I am not really a believer in Marvin Harrison Jr., but I think I would still take him. I think he's not. I think he's not good. I just think that situation is not going to be conducive for him to succeed in Dynasty.
Same question that I asked about Travis Hunter about Tet McMillan.
No,
108.
I would rather have the package. I would rather have the package.
T. Higgins.
The package.
Really? Okay.
I'm not a believer in T. Higgins. I think he's a good wide receiver, but if I want to overspend for a guy who's going to get 1,000 yards every single season, I'm good on that.
If you need wide receiver points because you're trying to contend and win now,
I don't need to do that in July either.
Correct. But the name I was going to throw out there is AJ Brown, 28. So he's just over that age apex of a wide receiver in Dynasty. But you know who his quarterback's going to be. You know the offense is going to be solid.
I think he's under contract still too for a while.
One thing I will say about AJ Brown that I like as a Dynasty GM or even a seasonal GM, if I have AJ Brown not afraid to do the boo-boo face if he doesn't get his targets.
It's true.
Even if the team's winning 14 games, if he's not,
it worked last time.
It worked like a charm. So, those are some of the ones that I would go for. But I doubt you would have to add something. And if you want to go rookies because you have the 108, you're not going to have it. You're going to have to add a little bit. Maybe it's not Tua. Maybe it's something else. You're going to have to add a little bit and try to go up and get Tet or Travis Hunter. Unless it's an IDP league, then good luck. But those are some guys. And then, I would give 108 for Zay Flowers. I like Zay Flowers. I like Zay Flowers quite a bit. I know, but he was the first guy to have a wide receiver one season with Lamar Jackson as the quarterback. And and he's going into year 3. And I know everybody's super bullish on Isaiah Likely, and I still like Mark Andrews, but outside of those two guys, and at some point, and Josh Allen's in the same boat too, and even Jalen Hurts, but he's got the Super Bowl, so maybe not as fast. These guys are getting into their late 20s, almost 30s, and at some point, the amount of running they do it's never gonna stop, but it's gonna slow down, and when that slows down, they're gonna pass the ball more. So I think Zay Flowers is a guy that I really like. Again, if you're contending, Terry McLaurin, you could probably even get something back for the 108. Terry McLaurin and
True.
A guy that I really like, I've liked all off season is, Jalen Waddle. Second contract. Wouldn't be surprised if Tyreek Hill's not on that team next year. He's only 26. Guy I really like. So those are some of the options I would explore on, a team needing wide receiver points and being the bearer of the 108. Let's go to Cigar, not Cigar or not Sugar, SAGAR in my Superflex 10 team. I have Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Drake May, Michael Penix Jr. If I move one, who should it be? I am open to moving Allen if someone throws a huge offer, but that is looking difficult. Here's the thing. We just mentioned it. Josh Allen, kind of like Justin Jefferson, they're almost on that tipping point of being boring. We have Josh Allen fatigue. We have Justin Jefferson fatigue. Remember when Mike Evans, you couldn't get Mike Evans for 3 firsts back in the day. I see your smile. You remember what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And did Mike Evans stop being Mike Evans?
No.
But the price tag went down. Why? Mike Evans fatigue. I don't think you'll get as much for Josh Allen as you would have maybe 2 years ago. For me, the one that I'm moving, Jerry's probably going to say Drake May. I'm going to say Michael Penix Jr. I would rather have Drake May. He's younger. He's healthier. I think Penix has had a major knee injury on both knees, if I remember correctly. He's like 25, not super young. I do like Drake London quite a bit, but that's who I would move. Because if you're going to move, like, you're never going to get for Dak what his points per game are worth. Because, again, he's boring. He's Dak, but Dak, solid QB1 when healthy. And I'm going to hang on to the upside of Drake May. So for me personally, I'd be looking to move Michael Penix. And because you're not going to get all these dudes in your lineup, give me a 27 first. We keep talking about that class. Give me you know what? I'll even let you, figure it out for another year. I'll take your 27 first and maybe throw in a guy who's going to put some points in your roster in a spot you may need it, like wide receiver. That's who I'm moving. I'm moving Penix Jr. What about you, Jer?
Michael Penix. Not even thinking for a millisecond later than that. I don't think Michael Penix is very good. Sorry. I just don't. Like it. We saw him play against the Giants. We saw him play 3 games last year. The Giants, Washington, who ended up being good, and Carolina. So the Giants and Carolina were poop, absolute poop. And he had 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in those games, about 60% completion percentage. He was fine. 250 yards a game, which is not like terrible, but 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in 3 games. What about that suggests he's going to help you win a dynasty championship? Nothing. And we're talking about a guy who has had multiple catastrophic knee injuries. He's also extremely old for his age. And if he was that elite of a quarterback, he would have been out earlier and played in the league earlier. I don't really think so. And I also think they're probably not going to be a very good team. And when they're not a very good team and they have to pay Kirk Cousins $100 million, and if they're 1-3, are they going to go back to Kirk Cousins, who's now healthy, unlike he was last year? Which, speaking of which, if you haven't watched the quarterback show on Netflix, it's awesome, fantastic. Of course, Jared Goff's in it, and Kirk Cousins, my two worlds combining. But I don't really love Michael Penix Jr. I don't think I have a single share in 30 leagues, and I think I'm going to keep it that way because honestly, I think he is out of the league in like 2 years. Like, I know I pissed a lot of people off when I talked about Anthony Richardson last year, and I was ahead of the curve on that one. Something about Michael Penix just screams, I don't love it. Like, I think Drake May is going to be around. When I say I don't think he's awesome, that doesn't mean I think he's going to be out of the league. I think Michael Penix is going to be out of the league.
Let me hit you with some more player profiler rankings. These I just go on every position. Superflex is the setting. I'm just going to go some guys around Michael Penix, not a quarterback because you don't need a quarterback. A guy we've already talked about a bunch. Breece Hall. Could you get Breece Hall for?
Oh my God.
I mean,
Randy, I would have an erection the size of the Statue of Liberty if I got Breece Hall for Michael fucking Penix.
That paints a visual. What about Tet McMillan?
I would rather have Tet.
What about Travion Henderson?
What about Henderson? Travion for sure.
I mean, and then you kind of start tearing down. Again, your team should be contending because you've got really good players. Maybe you could even maybe Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor
in a second. They're making fun of me because I said old for his age. You bastards in the chat.
Yeah, they are giving you they are giving you the business. Real quick, our guy Jamie Parag is in there. Oh, I knew he asked a trade question, and of course, Jamie always supports the chat on YouTube. So you're goddamn right, Jamie's questions going on there. Thoughts on this trade? Just went through a league, 10 teams, superflex. Someone gave up Judkins, Algier, and an early-ish 2026 second for Brees Hall. Even before the crime, I'm on Brees Hall. And it's
Correct.
not and it's not because Judkins is a bad player. He's on a bad team. He's not necessary. I mean, he can catch passes, but he's not going to be the pass catcher. You're hoping for peak Nick Chubb out of Quinshon Judkins.
And you're not going to get peak Nick Chubb.
And currently, who was the guy who went to LSU who also had a domestic issue? Darius.
Oh, Darius Geis.
Yeah.
No. Don't bring that back up, bro.
You're hoping for Nick Chubb, and you probably have got Darius Geis.
Don't say that. I drafted a lot of Darius Geis, man.
Dude, you're really hoping for somewhere a lot closer to Nick Chubb.
Yes.
Oh man, I hit you with one there.
Yeah, you hit me with some PTSD, a name that because Hakeem Butler always comes back. Like I never forget that, but Darius Geis I forget about.
Well, I chose Nick Chubb because Nick Chubb, he could catch passes, but didn't catch a lot of passes. But he really did it on like touchdown volume. And then, I mean, because of the whole situation, really, that's why I brought up Darius Geis. So I thought that was fun. That was fun. No, and Addison in the chat, I don't think he would be peak Chubb. Although if you're saying peak Chubb is in the
I got a peak Chubb right now.
Yeah. All right. All right. What else? Do we have anything else here? All right. Guy has 101. I didn't write down names because I was in a hurry. So this will be the last one for tonight. But we'll do this again. Remember, if you didn't get your trade answered, or you're hearing this in audio form, or you're watching it back on like Monday, Tuesday, still go to YouTube, still go to the comments, put in your trade. We'll get them. We'll get them next week. This GM has the 101, wants the 105, offered Alvin Kamara, Joe Mixon, Brandon Ayuk, and Kyle Pitts for the 105 and Chris Olave. Is that too much?
Hold on. Say it again. I started hearing a whole bunch of old names, so I sort of
it was Alvin Kamara,
Joe Mixon,
Brandon Ayuk, who's hurt, Kyle Pitts, who's never been any good. I mean, I guess he was kind of
Olave in 105. You said,
yeah.
No, God, no. I would rather have the young guys. Give me Olave.
Yeah, I mean, it's like not a bad offer. It's like it's like setting a mousetrap. The bait in this case is the names. I know Joe. I know Joe Mixon. I know Alvin Kamara.
You know Alvin Kamara is going to be fine. You don't know what Joe Mixon will be good for the first month.
Maybe
Brandon Ayuk will have flashes, and Kyle Pitts is younger than all of them. So it's like it's a good strategy to sort of piece together like a bunch of names and a bunch of situations that you can help maybe form a situation in your head. But no, I will take Chris Olave in 105. Thank you very much.
Yeah. It's a volume play. I think it's fair. I think, we joked earlier and mentioned the trade calculators. I think if you were to throw this into a trade calculator, I think it'd come up pretty fair. But at the same time, it's like I would rather have the 2 10s than the 4 5s. It's $20 either way, but I'd rather have the 2 big bills and then just move on down the road. But if the person who has the 105 is a contender and maybe they finished in the Final Four in your league last year, then maybe they'll see those points as a reason to make that trade.
It's not inconceivable for sure. We did have another one, Franz.
Okay.
Now this is 2 people that I don't really love and don't have lots of.
Okay.
Kyren Williams or Olave in PPR Dynasty.
One more time, Williams. Which Williams?
Kyron Williams or Chris
Kyron.
Olave. Like for me, it's easily Chris Olave just because I am not a Kyron Williams guy. He's also a running back. I also don't know which direction that offense is going to be going very soon. They got a bunch of older pieces. And I think Chris Olave at some point has to get some help for the brother. But so that's where I'm at. And I would rather have a 25-year-old wide receiver over a 25-year-old running back in a vacuum every time.
It's
yeah, because Randy doesn't have much Chris Olave. And Randy likes himself some Kyron Williams. He's tongue tied. I like it.
Well, I don't want to give the lazy answer and say, well, it's situation dependent, but
also that's good advice if that's what you believe.
If you're not locked into competing for a championship this year, like you would have to have finished in the Final Four last year, and I will use that as like my measuring stick to determine if your team's a contender or not.
Fair.
Now, also in fairness, you could be a maniac and you could have finished in the Final Four and then have been trading off all of the pieces. And remember, all those guys are a year older now. So all that being said is that if I'm still contending and I'm trying to win a championship, I'm going to keep Kyron Williams. But if you want to bank on, has Chris Olave been paid? Is he on his second contract yet?
I don't know that answer.
You know,
I feel like he has.
I'm pulling it up right now. I got to find him because he's pretty down the dynasty rankings. He was drafted in 2022. So 22, 23, 24. This is 25. No, he was a first round pick.
Yeah.
So
they must.
I mean, no,
your option. Yeah, they gave him a 5th-year option.
They did give him the 5th-year option. Okay,
but that's it. He has not gotten the second contract.
But my point is that he is extension eligible.
Yes.
How do you get an extension, Jerry? What could Chris Olave do to get that money, to get that cash, to get the bag owed cheddar? What could he do?
Well, that's what he could do. He
could do real well in 2025.
Or he just ends up in a situation where he doesn't have Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler, and he could actually be on a good offense, and then his value increases either way. Chris Olave, more reasons.
I think Chris Olave is going to be fine with Tyler Shuck.
I think he's fine too.
I think he's way better off.
It doesn't get you excited. Like he's not going to be Malik Neighbors with him.
Well, Malik Neighbors,
maybe he'll never be Malik Neighbors to begin with.
Who was? Hold on. No, wait just a damn minute. I will not sit here and listen to you besmirch the good name of Tyler Shuck, knowing that goddamn well Malik Neighbors had a fantastic rookie season with Daniel Jones, Tommy Cutlets DeVito, Drew Lock. Yeah. I think if Malik Neighbors can have, and I'm not saying Chris Olave is Malik Neighbors, but he's a really good wide receiver, similar draft capital, has been the recipient of some unfortunate events. There's a world where he puts it together this year and their points combined to be about the same. And at the end of 2025, I'd rather be holding a 20, let's see, how old is Olave here? He is 25. So I'd rather be holding a 26-year-old wide receiver than I would be a 26-year-old running back who's had some injury issues of his own and could be on a new team because they're not going to pay him. And they may pay him. They're allegedly in negotiations, but and then Rubio in the chat says Shuck has those finger guns. Those finger pistolas. But Jerry, I love this topic. I love that the chat jumps in to help us out and helps us, ask good questions.
They are sweet angels.
So if you made it this far, we're an hour in. That's we usually try to go 60. I think it's a good time, a good length of time for a podcast. But if you didn't get your trade answered, I think we got everything in the YouTube chat and everything from last week. Go back to YouTube. If you're hearing this after the live stream ends, go back to YouTube, go to the comments, and we'll get you next week. We're going to do this one more time. But at the buzzer, Austin, is it Perello? We're going to go with Pirello. Austin, do you guys think there's a world where Roman Wilson becomes the Steelers' wide receiver 2? Jerry, what do you think?
No. I think Roman Wilson is bad at football, and I think he'll be out of the league soon.
I think Roman Wilson could be sneaky good this year. And so, Austin, you couldn't have asked a more polarizing player.
Correct. We got in an argument about it a couple weeks ago.
Who's the wide receiver 2 in Pittsburgh?
I'm listen. Okay, fair. He could be the wide receiver 2 there. Is that going to be worth a damn? No, I don't think so.
Who's the quarterback in Pittsburgh?
Mr. Rogers.
And who most reminds you of Randall Cobb?
Not Roman Wilson.
He's more Randall Cobb than
because
DK Metcalf.
He's not DK Metcalf does not mean he's like a Randall Cobb.
You're either better than, the same as, or different than. And Roman Wilson is different than Calvin Austin. He's different than DK Metcalf. He works in that area that we like all these other wide receivers. I know you're a big DK Metcalf guy. But it's possible versus probable. Is it possible that he blows up? I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be like in that Khalil, that
550 yards. Yes,
I think he's going to be in like that Khalil Shakir type range,
which is useless to your dynasty team.
You are drunk and disorderly.
Useless to your dynasty. Nobody that won any money playing this game had Khalil Shakir starting in their team.
100% they do. If
ready
to
for
start
it. Fucking useless. Get him out of here.
If you start 3 wide receivers, Khalil Shakir was most certainly useful last year. And how many of our patron leagues have a 3 wide receiver starting format?
A lot. Most of them.
Okay, so yeah, Jerry doesn't have any time for a guy who had 76 receptions, 821 yards, and 4 touchdowns. That guy's useless.
You didn't win with him. You didn't win with him.
You don't win because of your wide receiver 3
was the wide receiver 3 on the team that finished in 6th. That's what he was. No, get him out of here.
He's the kind. No, you don't build around the Khalil Shakirs of the world. But these guys are vital come bye weeks, injury weeks. You
went against Michael Pittman. The champion probably had like Michael Pittman as their wide receiver 3. And you know what they did? Stomped you into the ground.
No, Rubio. He's a Michigan State fan. It's even worse. It's like he's not a knower of ball. But we're having a ball, and we'll be back next week, and we will do this again. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for all the trades. Let's run it back one more time because Jerry, after we talk trades next week, we're talking real-ish football starting the week of the 27th. I think that's the night of the Hall of Fame game.
Hall of Fame game is the 31st, the Detroit Lions and the Los Angeles Chargers.
So it's a Thursday night.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. The 27th is Sunday, add 4, 31st.
Makes sense.
Thursday night football. Yeah, well, it'll be on par on a regular season Thursday night game. Borderline brutal.
I'll be to go full circle. I'll be peak Chubb.
I will be watching. I will be watching, and then I will be watching Twitter to listen to people complain about how bad the football is. Listen, to everybody who was in the live chat tonight, thank you for your trades. Thank you for your time. And most importantly, thank you for helping each other. Thank you for helping answer each other's questions. Jerry and I, we do our best to provide our insight and experience of playing this game, but I think it's pretty damn cool when people in the YouTube chat during the live stream are helping each other. We'll be back next week. One more week of Dynasty Trades, then we're marching into the start of the 2025 season. On behalf of that man, he is Jerry Sinclair. Follow him on Twitter X at JerrySinDWZ. You can follow me at DWZ Memphis, and we'll see you next week, guys. Thank you.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.